A, we love math. A, we love math. A, every time we divide, we already know the path. A, then we multiply. All we gotta do is roll the die. A.
All right, so let's go over the 1.54 complete the square. So we did a bunch in the introduction. We did things like this. We took a algebra tile, and the length of one side of the square is called x, and this is x, because if you multiply them together, x times x is what shape is this? This is an x squared. Now let's say we have, let's just say we have x squared plus 4x. The 4x is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has a length of 1, and this is a length of 1, so that side is x plus 2, and this is x plus 2. How many in the red box would fit here? Well, the answer is 4. So let's think about this process we just did. To complete the square, complete the square. The first thing you're going to do is find half the b value. And then you're going to square the result in step 1. And then lastly, you're going to add the result in step 2 to x squared plus bx. So basically the completing the square formula is b over 2 squared. So here you are completing the square with the formula. Let's try a quick example. In this example, we're going to do the same thing as what they have. Let's do an even number. Textbook give you guys a fraction. Same directions as what you guys are going to be doing. Find the value of c that makes each trinomial a perfect square. Then write the trinomial as a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so let's go ahead and try x squared minus 8x plus c. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is identify the half the b value. So ax squared plus bx plus c. We've been doing this quite a bit, right? And your b value is -8, right? So if you write down the formula from above, what is our b value? It is -8. And now I just need to take half of that, which is -4, and I square it, and I get 16. So this value is what you're going to plug in for c. So you're going to have this x squared minus 8x plus 16. Let's try to put the 16 in here from the c value. Okay, now it tells us to write it as a perfect trinomial. So there you would just factor it. A times c, b value, my two numbers, and then put it into your box. I really want to tell you guys the secret, but I'm holding off. Remember, this one goes here. We split this term here, so -4x, -4x, and 16. And then get x, -4x, -4, so this becomes x minus 4 squared. Okay? All right. For questions 19 and 24, complete 3, so skip 3 problems. Okay? All right, number 19. We're going to have to first, again, find the value of c that makes each trinomial a perfect square. So let's use the formula, write down the formula. Completing the square formula is b over 2 squared. This is my a, b, and c. So my b value is 10, so I'm going to write 10. Okay. And what is half of 10? It is 5. I want you to notice that these problems are 5 squared is 25. What's kind of nice about this so far is that they've been giving us evens. So now I have x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then if you factor that, 25, my b value is 10, so that would be 5 and 5. X squared, 5x, 25, so x, 5, x, 5, so this would become x plus 5 squared. That's what it means to write the trinomial as a perfect square trinomial. This is a perfect square trinomial. All right, number 20. Let's write down our formula, completing the square. B over 2 squared. So I have A, B, and C. My B value is negative 14, so negative 14 and half of that, so that would be negative 7, and negative squared is 49. So my C value that I need is 49. So all of this will go right here. X squared minus 14x plus 49. So if you factor that, A times C is 49, B value is negative 14. We've been doing this a lot, right? Just take half of the B value. This only works because we're going to get a perfect square trinomial. Displaying that middle term there. This one goes in the top left, always. Bottom right, always. And you just factor it. X, negative 7, x, negative 7. And that is our perfect square trinomial. 21. Oh yes, another even. So completing the square, my formula is b over 2 squared. A, B, and C. That does not look like a C. B is 24. And then half of 24 is 12. And then 12 squared is 144. My C value is 144. So x squared plus 24x, plus 144. So you're basically just taking half the b value, squaring it. And then we can go ahead and factor this. A times c is 144. My b value is 24. Half of the b value is 12. Why do I write an x? Because it goes here. And x squared always goes in the top left. 144 always goes in the bottom here. And then you're taking out the greatest common factor. So that would be going this direction, x. They both have a 12 in there. X and 12. I have two of those expressions, so I can write x plus 12 squared. All right, 22. They decided to give us a b value that's odd. What do you think is going to happen? Oh no. Oh no. A, B, and C. My B value is 5, goes here. So I have 5, half of 5 squared. Okay. Students like to turn things into decimals when they get scared. So, because they get scared of fractions. Don't do that. In this case, just what I want you to do is keep it as a fraction. So really what this becomes is 5 halves, and each of those get a 2. So that would become 25 over 4. Okay? No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's Halloween. I know you guys are more scared of fractions than you are of any scary costume. Okay, so I'm going to write x squared plus 5x plus 25 over 4. Okay, so if you factor this, I'll tell you guys some quote-unquote shortcut. So a times c is going to be 25 over 4, and then the b value is 5. Okay, what two numbers multiply to be 25 over 4? Well, look back at your process here. How did I get 25 over 4? Well, I got it from 5 halves. So 5 halves is the number. You can literally just take the 5 here, down here, and just divide it by 2, right? Does that make sense? A couple of ways how to get the answer. You can look back at the process of completing the square, or just taking the b value there, that I underlined in black, and then just divide it by 2. All right, 5 halves x, right? We add an x because it's, you add those two together, you'll get 10 over 2x, which is 5x. And just simply go over here. And 25 over 4 goes over here. The greatest common factor here is an x. Okay, that direction is just 5 halves. 5 halves. Because remember, this is 5 halves times 5 halves. So our answer is going to be x plus 5 halves squared. That is our perfect square trinomial. Okay. 23, let's go ahead and write down our formula, completing the square formula, b over 2 squared, and a, b, and c. So the b value is -9. Okay, so here, just distribute that power of 2. Remember, it's not times 2, it's to the power of 2, so -9 squared. The whole thing, -9 times -9, is 81. 81 over 4 is my c value. Okay, so that's going to go over here. X squared minus 9x plus 81 over 4. We're going to factor this. Let's do it over here with last space. So a times c is going to be 81 over 4. My b value is -9. Remember, the a, b's, and c's will always be just numbers. It never has a variable such as x in there. Okay, what's half of -9? Well, remember, you can just divide it by 2. Do you see that? And you get -9 over 2. Another way you can do that is looking up over here at your c value. And look at what we have up here. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so half, if you add -9 halves and -9 halves, you will get, because you have common denominators, add the numerators, you get -18 over 2, which is -9. Fractions aren't that scary. X squared, 81 over 4, And you just take out the greatest common factors. They both have an x here. What do they have in common? Remember, this is negative 9 halves. Negative 9 halves. So they have a negative 9 halves in common. Same thing in this direction. So our answer is x minus 9 half squared. Okay. And number 24, we're going to complete the square formula. B over 2 squared. A, B, and C. Okay, my B value, just like my A value here, if there's no number there, it's not 0, it's 1. So I have negative 1. And we talked about how this 2 there is going to go to each of them. So essentially what it is, it's negative 1 half squared over 2 squared. And this will get you 1 over 4. My C value is 1 over 4. Take that number, put it right there. And so you get x squared minus x plus 1/4. Notice your C value will always be positive because you're always squaring it. Okay, now we're going to do our box. So A times C is 1/4. My B value is negative 1. Remember, there's 2 ways of getting this number here in red. The first one is just taking your B value and dividing in half. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is positive 1/4, and negative 1/2 plus negative 1/2 is negative 2 over 2, or negative 1. You just add the numerators when the denominators are the same. You do not add the denominators for fractions. So essentially, to split the B term, it's negative 1/2 x. I know fractions look scary, just go through it. Notice I'm writing my fractions vertically. X squared always goes there, and 1/4. Remember, 1/4, if you look up here, is essentially negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2. Okay. So if they're going in this direction, they have an x in common. Going in this direction, they have what in common? They have a negative 1/2. X and negative 1/2. Okay? So our answer is going to be x minus 1/2 squared. And you might be asking, why is that important? We're going to go to our last form of quadratics, but that was 1.54, completing the square. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Remember not to write all your math papers in ink. Remember to show all your work if you don't want to see. Remember to test, stay, and prepare for it wholly. Because if you don't, then you'll perform poorly.